How you doing, guys? Welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 29th of June 2022. Before I get into any analysis at all, I just want to quickly talk about what happens when price starts to come down. Now, obviously, we've been watching Bitcoin, we've been watching Binance. We can see that price has stabilized a little bit. But the most important thing is that when price starts to move lower, we've obviously gone below 20,000 today, then slightly above 20,000. Seems to be holding okay-ish. But it's at this moment that anything can happen. We may see an explosive move to the upside. We may see an aggressive drop to the downside. Either way, if you don't have a plan, if you don't know exactly what it is that you're looking to do when you're engaging with, any financial instrument, then it's very easy to get on the wrong side of things, right? So if we just go over to the charts and I'll show you what I'm talking about. On Bitcoin, I told you guys many, many times, right, that there's this liquidity pull down here. And I don't want to do anything until, and I'm using obviously Bitcoin as the timing tool, right? But I don't want to do anything until Bitcoin at least absorbs most of this liquidity and puts us around about between sort of 15 and 16,000. That will give me more of an indication as whether, as to whether or not Bitcoin is going to continue going down, right? When we look at Binance, it's very clear cut, right? I can't do anything until it hits 148. And it is that precise. It's like I'm not 150. I don't want to get close to it. It has to be 148 because that's where the level lines up, right? Now, there are moments, obviously, when you can kind of deviate slightly on something like this, but not very often. The only time really that I would ever want to get, into something close, where it's, close enough would be if it's going to be like a sort of, 5-year, 10-year hold, and it's something I'm going to be in for a very, very long time. At the moment, though, my main focus is, are we going to get trapped? That's the thing. Are we, or me personally, am I going to get trapped in the market, right, by engaging at the wrong possible time, right? Some of the assets that I'm looking to buy, okay, are very, very close in price. So what that means is if price gets to, a level that I'm expecting to get into, okay, I would need that asset to do really, really well as opposed to maybe Binance. So if I buy Binance at 148 and it goes to 200, that's a nice increase of $52 on my Binance, each Binance that I buy, right? Or each BNB. But with some assets, when you purchase at lower levels, the volatility, volume, and movement or ranges on these particular assets aren't as pronounced or don't move as much as, for example, Binance or Bitcoin. When that happens, you end up in a spot where you're expecting to maybe potentially double your money or even triple your money, for example, which is quite reasonable with some of these coins. But then you don't get it because the movement simply isn't there. And you've got to look at the correlation between Bitcoin and Binance and some of these other things that are happening in the market. What chain is your particular asset on, and so on and so on and so on. So my point being is, be cautious, be careful, right? If we just go back to Bitcoin, I want to stretch the chart out. We can see, obviously, we're getting that secondary drop now. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go, okay? We may very well come down now. We've already eaten into most of the liquidity that's here. So the only place left really is to run deeper into this liquidity pool. But we may very well get something like this, where we get, a little bit of a drop and then a kind of, reversal to the upside to take out this little level up here, which is around about 23,000. That is a real possibility. There is an argument to be made that, price may want to eat into a lot of this area between 26 and 28,000. Again, it's a real possibility. Personally, if I was in control of price and I wanted to cause max pain, I would drive price higher, get people, excited about Bitcoin, get people thinking that Bitcoin is going to run to the upside, pile in, and then I would just drop price. That's what I would do if I wanted to cause max pain. I don't want to cause max pain, obviously, but that's the kind of thinking that you have to go through because you've got to look at the markets as a battleground, and you're trying to navigate your way through this, and avoid the mines and so on, right? So Bitcoin for me, if we just drop down to the hourly, we can see how this is kind of faring. If we do that, you can see we had this little bit of a run. We had this very subtle, confirmation that price after the fact, when we got to around about here, was going to continue driving lower, looking for liquidity elsewhere. And obviously we've been driving lower, lower, lower. So you can almost feel that last sort of drop into, roughly around about sort of 19,500, give or take, maybe a little bit lower. There are some imbalances over here on the hourly, but I'm not really too fussed about taking those into consideration because it's the hourly chart, let's be frank. So again, it's just a question of being cautious, the daily chart's more in play now than the weekly chart is. For me, what happens on the daily is going to be key. US equities open is coming in roughly about an hour, 40, about an hour and 20 minutes or so, or an hour and 30 minutes. So be mindful of that as well. So hopefully, when the US equities market opens, we'll get a little bit of volatility, some things jumping, jumping in and out of the marketplace. So we'll see. So for now, Bitcoin, yep, it's just a, watch and wait. Binance is not really much to discuss on Binance other than the fact that if it starts to run lower, 148 is on the cards. But again, it doesn't mean this is going to happen all in one go. This is really important to understand as well. You have to let the market settle. And this is why I keep insisting on having a level, having a plan. Whatever your plan is, whatever your level is, wait for it to get hit. If you have the discipline to do that, then you put yourself on the right side of the market more often than putting yourself in bad trades or bad investments, yeah? Because timing is down to you having discipline to let price hit a level, yeah? Timing has nothing to do with guessing or trying to get into something because it just looks cheap, or FOMOing into something because, you can't control your emotions. So we'll just do a very quick look at Ethereum. And again, nothing's changed. We start to run to the downside. 735 still on the card. 750 obviously is the first place it would hit. And the reason I keep mentioning 750 over and over again is because there's an imbalance there. So if price gets there, we could see a little bit of price sensitivity and a bit of a run back up from there. But between 750 and 735, that's pretty much on the cards, I believe, for Ethereum. And with all of that said, guys, I really hope everyone's having an absolutely fantastic day or evening wherever you are in the world. I'll do another update sometime later. And with that said, take care and ciao for now.